When I was a young girl, like many other young girls, I had many Barbies and I loved playing with them, imagining stories and personas for them. You know how it is. That is until my brother maniacally ripped off one of the heads of my Barbies and left it for me to find all of the Godfather style, which left me thoroughly horrified, thinking my headless Barbie and her friends would tie me up like in Small Soldier, which resulted in my parents having to put all my Barbies in a box locked away because I was terrified of them for 2 whole years. But even so, like almost everyone else on this planet, I've been waiting impatiently for one of the most anticipated movie weeks ever, Barbenheimer. Hi friends, welcome back to my channel, or if you're new here, hi, this is Silver Screen Freak. I talk about all things movies, TV shows, pop culture, and as you can tell from the title, I'm going to be discussing one half of the 2 most anticipated movies of this year, Barbie. So without giving away any spoilers, Barbie is about stereotypical Barbie played by Margot Robbie, who goes on a journey of self-discovery following an existential crisis. The film begins with a little history lesson on the Barbie doll, saying it was finally an alternative to the baby doll, a doll that was supposed to make girls excited for motherhood, which, no. The Barbie was meant to be a feminist icon because she can be anything. Finally, little girls don't have becoming mothers as their only goals. They can be an astronaut, doctor, or even the president. And since its invention came the creation of Barbie Land, a matriarchal utopia where all the Barbies hold powerful positions, whilst the Kens are, as the tagline states, just Ken. We see Barbie having a perfect day, and as the narrator points out, every day is a good day for Barbie, whereas for Ken, it's only a good day if Barbie looks his way. So basically, Ken exists for Barbie. The night ends off with Barbie having her first existential crisis when she starts thinking about death. The next day, things start to go off for Barbie. Her morning is not nearly as perfect as usual, and she finds her feet flat and has developed cellulite. She seeks out Weird Barbie, a Barbie who has been played with too much in the real world, for advice, and she tells her that she must go to the real world and meet with the girl who is playing with her because they have become so linked that the girl's existential crisis is seeping into Barbie. So Barbie heads off to the real world with Ken. Once they reach the real world, it's totally inverted from the perfect utopia of Barbie Land. Barbie starts to become conscious of herself, wary of the looks the people, particularly men, give her, whereas Ken is loving it. It's a movie with a lot of themes and messages, and Greta Gerwig is someone who puts in a lot of thought into her movies and has a lot to say with her commentary, and there's a lot of hidden, nuanced messages that she has in her movies. If you've seen my previous video on Little Women, it took me 5 years and a couple of viewings to really come to terms with some of the messages that Greta Gerwig had to say in Little Women, so I'm pretty sure that it's going to take me a couple more viewings of Barbie to really unpack everything that there is to say. But with just this one viewing, what I was able to take away from the film was themes of the role of women and what society expects from her. It delves into patriarchal systems versus matriarchal systems, and all around questions what makes us human, what parts of us make us who we are. It talks about changing ideologies and lasting ideas, ultimately questioning what our purpose or meaning is. Both Barbie and Ken, along with us, learn a little bit more about ourselves. So here are some of my thoughts. Number 1, the devil works hard, but the marketing team for Barbie works harder. It's the reason for all the hype around Barbie. I don't remember a time where people actually dressed up to go to theaters, and I actually don't remember a time in the past decade where people were excited to go to the theater as much as this summer, thanks to Barbenheimer. With that said though, I wished I hadn't seen all the trailers and teasers. I felt like I kind of ruined it for myself. Basically, like the first half an hour of the movie were all the clips we had already seen through trailers and teasers, so it didn't feel like I was watching anything new. I wish there had been more mystery around it beforehand, or I just wished I hadn't watched anything, because I pretty much knew what was going to happen for the most part, which is disappointing because I was expecting a lot more. And that's not to say that the movie is not original or that the movie wasn't good. It's just I ruined it for myself by watching all those trailers and clips. Had I watched it blind, it would have been a way better experience. So I do think the marketing was a bit of a double-edged sword. It created the hype, got people excited for the movie, but also it lost a bit of that excitement while watching it. 2, it's a total visual treat, and as a 28-year-old woman, I felt like a little girl again, pre-headless Barbie days, of course. The production design, the attention to details, the pink, the glitter, the costumes, the amount of serotonin it boosted in my brain was amazing. It's like being inside a child's head. I don't think they could have created a better Barbie Land. 3, the movie is as funny as it is existential. I just think there are so many great moments in this film. 4, Margot Robbie is fantastic. She is truly a Barbie. 5, Ryan Gosling was the scene stealer. He is so underrated as a comedic actor. This is the same guy as Blade Runner and Drive. His range is unmatched, and I just think he's so funny. He was really good. 6. Not surprising considering Greta is an auteur in her own right. There were a lot of times where I was reminded of Lady Bird and Little Women. Mother-daughter relationship is Lady Bird coded. The speech by Gloria was so Jo March of her, and I felt the tagline, "She's everything, he's just Ken," was actually a huge theme in Little Women as well. And as you know, I love both movies so much. Greta is amazing, and I think she is a gift to all of us. 7. The message and themes are great. I really liked how they discussed the problems of Barbie and unrealistic standards, not just in terms of beauty, but also that, women don't need to be the best at everything to be considered a woman or to be considered a great woman. But I felt that the emotional scenes were a little weak. I was hoping for a little bit more realism to hone in the themes more. Okay, now it's gonna sound a little mean, but this was my initial thought while watching it. There were times where I felt like the movie was coming across like an extended SNL skit or like a sophisticated DCOM movie. One emotional point I wish they could have delved into more or did something to make it stronger was between Gloria and Sasha. It felt too brief, and there was great potential about womanhood, losing your inner child and idealism and optimism and finding it back again. I thought it was a wasted opportunity, and I just felt like at the end of it, I felt like I wanted more from that. Like I wanted to cry, but I wasn't nearly there, 8. It got a little too preachy at the end. There's a point in the end where Gloria makes a speech about the role of women and how ridiculous it is that we are expected to be everything all the time, how it's unfair the expectations that are expected of us, and that we should just be allowed to live like however we want to. Don't get me wrong, it's a great speech, but everything after that was just more dialogue and exposition. And again, if they had delved into that theme a little bit more with a little bit more realism, like in my previous point, I think that speech would have hit a little bit harder for all of us. However, as I started thinking about it more, and I feel like Greta is a director who actively makes choices, and there are reasons for her choices. I feel like she does things very intentionally. I started thinking it kind of felt like they were explaining how to be a human being as if to a child. And then I thought, Barbie Land does feel like the inside of a child's mind. And one of the themes is about the little girl that lives on in adult women. So maybe having this very expositional direction was a way to get it through little girls literally who are watching the movie, as well as the little girls that live in us, adult women who are watching the movie. 9. Overall, it's a very fun film. It's entertaining, great performances, very funny. It's like a movie, Great themes and messages. I still feel like I'm going over it over and over again. As I said, I did a review on Greta's Little Women, and the one thing I realized about her is that her movies are packed with a lot of nuanced messages, and I feel like one viewing wasn't enough for me to fully appreciate everything that needs to be said. I think this is a great movie on two fronts. From a surface level, it's a great film just to watch this movie. It's fun, it's original, and it's very entertaining. At the same time, I feel like it's also a movie that has a lot to say. You can really dissect it and go through the themes and what the movie is ultimately all about. And I know once I watch it a couple more times, I'm gonna have a lot more to say.
My favorite thing about the movie is it feels like a movie.
So anyways, in conclusion, Greta is great, and I'm never watching trailers again. So that's it, guys. Let me know down in the comments what you guys thought about Barbie, and you can click over here to watch my Little Women analysis, and let me know down in the comments which movies and TV shows and pop culture themes I should be talking about. I'll see you next time. Bye.